bro. I've been waiting one time like 5 minutes. All
right, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, look.
Previously on Hear Me Out.
Basically, what Dylan is saying is that he still loves you and he still supports you in other areas, but your decision as far as what you want to do in college is not what he wants to spend his money on. So he can help you, he can put a roof over your head, he can provide you food, but paying for your college is just something that they cannot support because they don't believe in it. I get that. Every parent is different. You don't have to be that way, but every parent. I'm not saying I would do that.
I'm asking. Would you think as that parent as a bad parent, basically?
Bro, I've been waiting one time like 5 minutes. All
right, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, look. First of all, parents who tell you to go into STEM because they don't want you to do art are not really don't know what they're talking about. First of all, STEM is very competitive. There's a lot of people in the STEM world right now. They all know how like advantageous it could be. I guarantee you, most people in STEM programs right now will not get a job when they graduate. It's like it's very competitive. It's limited space for like, you know what I mean. So regardless, if my son said he want to go to school and do art, first of all right, chances that it could get a job. It might not be a job where they're making $85K a year, but they'll still have a job. They'll still have a passion, something to do with themselves. Why they get themselves back on their feet. But look, I guarantee you, if you go to STEM, right, first you're gonna have to go to school for like 85 years, right? And when you graduate, you're gonna have a whole bunch of debt to pay off. And that's the one I guarantee you getting a job. So honestly, that argument is like, bro, just let your kids be dumb. Because then if somebody who goes to STEM, is gonna have a lot of debts to pay off. Somebody who chooses like something major like art, they might not have as much debt to pay off, but they would also not have as much money. But they can still find ways to accommodate. All you gotta do is just be the one person in the art world that finds a way to create a new picture or a new stuff art and sell it, and therefore you made it. You could be in a STEM program will not guarantee you living a lavish life like a lot of people I know are. Like literally, bro, everybody in my church was a doctor or works God, and they all complain about debt to pay because it's not that simple.
Can I say something?
Like, go ahead, Megan.
Okay, I was just gonna say. Also, I feel like, say your child does want to go into art, college is so like open. Like they could change majors. They could like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could change their mind. Like you have 4 years to think about what you want to do. So I feel like I would still pay for it. And then like James was saying earlier, like you can pay for the college and then they can figure it out. Like if they don't have a job or they're struggling, like that's kind of on them. But like I'm still want to give my child the opportunity to figure out what they want to do with their life.
Okay, so I have something to say. For the people that are in college, you're gonna realize. Well, I'm pretty sure we already know that college is extremely expensive, especially depending on where you go. If you don't have scholarships, like just depending on what position you're in, it could be either cheap or expensive. My suggestion is don't go to college and then figure out what you want to do. Have at least an idea. You can, have classes and everything, but have an idea, because to get to college and say, oh, I want to do art, spend 2 years paying for courses regarding art. And then the third year you decide you want to do computer science. And then your last year you want to do nursing. I'm just saying you're paying every course, you're paying for it. So to sit down and say, hey, take me off of the big screen, please. I'm basically just saying, I think a parent is entitled. If you sit down with your parent and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how this career looks in the future. This is how much I could be making when I'm 30 years old, when I'm ready to start a family. This is like the max value this major could be making. And your parent knows that it's not enough to sustain your future and theirs, because at a certain point you want to take care of your parents. You know what I'm saying? When they're old, you want to have them, you want to pay for their medical bills, It's just, as a parent, you cannot sit down and know that your child is going into a field where it's not going to bloom, or it's not going to put them in a position to where they could sustain themselves and you. As a parent, I don't think you can do that. I mean, me, when I'm looking for majors, I'm a double major. When I'm looking for majors, I actually had to sit down and look at the projection of like the next 10 years. How is my major, how much money am I going to make in the future? And then how is my major going to grow? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like parents shouldn't support you, but if you're going to do something where it's either a win or lose, then your parent or that parent is entitled to say, hey, I can't support this. I can't do this. And neither I can't either. I can't sit down and watch somebody fall into a hole, spend thousands of dollars digging themselves in a hole, and then when they're 50, they have debt. they don't have a good major to even get them out of that debt to support a family. They're miserable. So as a parent, you're there, going back to the idea of foundations, you're there to guide and support them. Yes, you can help, you can let them make their decisions and have their experiences, but to sit down and say, hey, I'll support this even though I know it's going to fail, or maybe they know it's going to fail, but as a student or as a child, pitch an idea, show them, hey, this is my business plan, this is what I think is going to happen, and they can support that. But you can't just expect the parent to just be giddy and, up and excited to do this or just pay for it just because you want to do it. Have some type of idea or plan to show them this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what you could do.
James, you've been demoted, bro.
Bro, let Ann talk.
You've been demoted. Yeah, but go ahead, Ann.
Argue, bro.
One thing I wanted to say is that me as a parent, I see your point, Natalia, about if it's gonna support them in the future, if it's gonna have them be financially stable where they could support me as I get older, and I get your point. But I feel like I don't want to push them to do something that they're not gonna be happy in. They are their own person. Like a child is not something that my child will not be somebody that I can control. That child comes with its own personality, with its own things that they want to do in life. And if they want to go out and be an artist or a singer or whatever it is that they want to do, I may not agree, but I'm not going to withdraw my support from them. Never. Never. I will never withdraw my support from my child simply because I don't believe in it. And also, I cannot see into the future. So who am I to say that they're not going to be successful? Who am I to say that they're not going to be able to make enough money and be able to support me and themselves? I can't just make that assumption. I have to still have some faith in them that they know what they're doing, even though despite that they are young and that when we're young we make mistakes. But at the same time, even if they do fail or they decide to change their major, I'm not going to bash them. I'm not going to make them feel bad for it, because it's like we're all grown. Like even me, I still have doubts on my major, what I want to do, but I still am going on the path that I chose. But if I were to change my major, if I were to do something different, my parents won't come and bash me at the house or kick me out and be like, oh, you wasted all of my money. I'm not going to do that to them, because in this world, like, we don't know what we're doing sometimes, and we might choose something that we think it's the right thing and it's not, but then you change your mind. And all I care about is that they find something that fulfills them, that they find something that makes them happy. That's all I care about. I don't care how much money I have to spend. I don't care how many times they change their mind, as long as it's doing something that will not drive them into a deep depression and I'll be hearing something on the news, oh, so and so committed.
Ooh.
Don't be saying that word, girl.
Sorry.
Bro, that is Big Bush, bruh. That is Big Bush.
All right.
Big Bush. That is Big Bush.
Don't violate my word, bro.
No, yes, that's what I'm doing, bro. That's why you're at the bottom. That is Big Bush. Bro. Bro.
Let me.
That is insane to me.
Bro, let me talk my issue.
That is actually unless you're in the financial, unless you have the financial capability, bro. Hold up, bro. Unless you have the financial capability, bro, supporting that child for its whole life, bro. You are setting most trash and bush people say that. Oh yeah, I did this and I could have did that. I wanted to do this because I thought it was gonna be great. You think the successful people, most successful people take calculated risks, bro. They don't go based off of, oh, who are you? Well, you will never know if this and that. No. No successful people go just off of vibes or like, oh yeah. No. You gotta know what you're doing if you want to be successful. You don't accidentally or hopefully become successful. So as a parent, you tell them that, oh yeah, telling them that, oh, I don't like your decision, but I'm still gonna support it. You setting that child up for failure. Right. Point blank, period. My internet is tripping, bro. I'm gonna hear what you say, bro, but I'm loading back in.
Can I please, bro? Please, I'm begging. I can talk now, bro.
Go ahead.
Let me explain something to you, though. Whether you hear me or not.